Okay. So I decided to show you guys how to make a split twig figure. This plant that I gathered is called squawberry, and it's just a bush that grows in various places in Arizona. I typically find it somewhere along creek beds, not right up against the creek, but fairly close, like within the floodplain kind of area. As you can see, it's got these very distinctive kind of lobed, three-lobed leaves. Another way that's easy to identify it is the branches are almost kind of fuzzy. They have like this fine little kind of hair, almost like the hairs you'd see like on your arm, but kind of going down, especially at the top near the leaves. Sometimes on the older branches as you get down, that fuzziness is gone, but it's got this kind of grayish bark with some of these little brown speckles on it. So that's a way you can identify it. What I want to do first, before I actually start forming the split twig, is I want to trim off some of these extra branches. You want to be careful you don't do that. That's not the best thing ever. Ideally, if you can peel them with your fingers, that's actually really good. So I'm just going to come in here, just going to very carefully with my knife trim them off. And as you can see, the rest of the branch, you want to find one ideally that does not have any main branches coming off. So like this kind of nice shoot here where there's nothing, because it will split a lot easier that way. These ones up at the top, they make it actually quite nice as a good spot to start splitting from. So I'm going to take this one off, but I'm going to start actually splitting it from this junction right here. I think that'll work best. If I started up at this one, probably by the time I got to this one, it wouldn't split properly. So I will just trim one of these off for the time being. And I'm just going to leave these on here, these top ones with the leaves, because I might need the extra length when it comes to kind of finishing it up. But you'll see here in a second what exactly I'm talking about. So the way to start a split twig figure is to, ideally, the whole reason it's called that is because I'm going to take the single branch and I'm going to split it as close as I can to the middle as possible, and I'm going to split it till there's probably about maybe 2.5, 3 inches at the bottom that isn't split, and that will kind of be the back leg. So you'll see here in a second. So what I do is I come in and I brace my middle fingers kind of where the split will be happening, and then I have my index fingers and my thumbs kind of up top holding the two sides, and then I slowly start pulling with my index fingers and my thumbs, and then down here kind of braces it so that it stays more controlled. And then I'm just going to slowly come down and I'm pulling both sides. Now, right off the bat, I can see that it's splitting more to the left. So I actually, in order to get it back to center, I want to pull a little bit harder on the right, just for a smidge, and it pulls it naturally back into the center. And so I'm just going to come down here, and I'm just going to slowly work it down into this split. So it's going more to the right, so I'm going to pull a little bit harder on the left, bring it back to center, and just keep working it down. So I've come to that knot that I trimmed, so I just want to very carefully work my way down past that knot. It's a little stiff, so I kind of get my fingers more in there, and I just kind of pull as best you can to kind of split that. So it's tricky. That's why you want to find ones without branches, because it's so much easier to split if it doesn't have branches. So I'm coming in here and just continuing to work it down. This one's splitting actually quite nicely, just right down the middle. So I'll just keep working it down and working it down. Okay. You want to find one, so when you're looking for one, you want to find one that's not too thick. in the branch because it will be harder to bend. So already I can feel this, the lower I'm getting, the more resistance I'm getting in terms of wanting the stick to kind of naturally bend, and that will make it a little bit trickier in creating the split twig figure. So I actually might stop a little bit more higher up than where I was intending to, just because it is getting so stiff as I'm working it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, so this is essentially going to be the back leg of our little animal. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to pick one side, and I'm going to fold it over to create the bottom of the belly, essentially. It's a little dry out today, I can tell, because this is actually drying quite quickly. So I'm going to try and work this fairly fast. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to fold it down. So it's kind of creating a little chair, I guess you could say. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to fold it back up. This is now, so we got the back leg, the bottom of the belly, and the front leg. And I'm going to come up here. This is going to be the front of the neck. This is where it gets a little tricky, as we're going to have suddenly a lot of bends and no way for them to stay together. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to bend it down. It's okay, so mine kind of snaps a little bit here. That's all right. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to come in, and right here now what I'm doing is I'm creating the front of the head. So, and this is where it gets tricky because there's like a million folds. You're trying to work them. So ideally I want to make a triangle with the head. So I kind of create that, and then that helps me to know where to bend it up here for the back of the neck. So I'm just going to make a guess, because it's kind of hard from this angle for me to see. Hopefully it's good for you guys to see. I come in here and I'm going to bend it down. So, okay, not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. It's kind of got a big head. So now what I need to do is I need to fold this along the back to create the back of the belly, or along the spine, I guess you could say, the spine of the animal. And I'm going to just quickly fold this over, because there we go. Okay, so we've got head, triangle. Oh, I did make a big head on my little guy. Okay. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll prop the stick up in my legs to kind of hold the back leg in place while I have all these folds before they start getting really wrapped and kind of tightened up. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just folding it. So as you can kind of see, it's folded now along the back. And then what I'm going to do now, and this is what's going to help to kind of hold some of these folds in place, I'm going to take the rest of this branch and I'm going to start wrapping it around, kind of along the same length of the body, and then around kind of the front of the neck. So come in here. And this is why it's nice that I kind of kept that length on there, because I can use it to my advantage. It's a little bit trickier because it's a little bit stiffer now. It's not split. It's a little bit thicker, but we can still make it work for at least a couple more bends. So I'll start pulling some of these leaves off. It doesn't want to break off. Okay. I'm going to come in once. Okay, that's pretty much, that's good. It's giving it a pretty good amount to the belly. So I'm going to come in here, and on this pass, what I want to do is I want to tuck it down through so that it will stay. And you can do this however you want. It doesn't really matter. You just want it to stay in place so it doesn't unravel. So pull it through. All right, that'll stay, and you'll see why in a minute that it'll actually stay. So with this piece now, this long piece, the kind of that's come off that back leg, we're going to take it and we're going to wrap it around the body. And because this is so stiff, it doesn't want to bend initially at first. Ideally, I mean, I split this right now, and you can work it totally green, but if you really wanted to get some good flexibility in the material, you could soak it for a couple of hours. It will help to relieve some of the natural pressure that's in the wood when you first cut it, but then it will keep it from drying out so that it won't get brittle. Just like in a creek or a puddle of water, just kind of let it soak for a while, and then you can kind of work it with your hands when you pull it out, just kind of lightly kind of encouraging it to bend in different directions, not like where it kinks, but just kind of getting it flexible, working the fibers, and then it'll really, really work for you. So again, I'm just kind of coming in here, and see how the bark's peeling off? That's fine, it's whatever, you can peel it off. You can do it while you're twisting, or you can do it at the end, doesn't matter. So kind of keep coming around, encouraging it to bend. And as you can see, it's just kind of wrapping around and keeping everything all nice and tucked. So we've got the body wrapped. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to go up and wrap the head. So we're just going to come in around the neck. And it's just, again, it's just holding everything together. So just, I've got to be careful because I'm tearing it up here. I want to make sure I have enough to wrap the face. So again, the bark's peeling. It's whatever, no big deal. Okay. Now, this is where I struggle, is in wrapping the face, because for some reason I can't ever get it to look quite nice. I don't know why that is. It's just something I struggle with. So I'm going to do the best I can, but when you guys go to make one of these, just practice. Try it out, see what works best for you. I have one friend who, he makes them on a regular basis, and it's amazing. They look so spectacular when he's done, and he's even figured out how to put like little sticks in to make like antlers, and they're really something to see. So I'm just trying my best here. It's not really wanting to cooperate because I'm up to that stiff section now where it doesn't really want to bend. But okay, so I'm up to the leaves. Yeah, see, that doesn't want to stay. Oh, man, it's not cooperating. It's okay. It's okay, no worries. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just about call it there. Peel off some more of these leaves so I have a little bit more to work with. Maybe I'll see if I can, maybe if I go around it like this. Nope. Okay, so mine ripped. It is what it is. So I'm just going to try then and just take it through and see if I can just kind of tuck it in somewhere so that it will stay. I don't know if it will. I might actually have to just come from this side. Kind of pull it through here and get it to want to stay. Just work it through some of these twists. Pull it down and around. Actually, it's kind of staying like that. Maybe I'll just leave it. So on the bark, I'm just going to kind of clean it up. Just kind of pull off some of these extra bits of bark. There we go. Let's see if we can just kind of tuck it around on itself a little bit. Okay. I'll call it good for there. Not my greatest, but it is what it is. So, yeah, starting to really unravel here. It was just too, I think it got too dry. It's too thick. So that's the struggle with it when you get it too thick. But I'll just, and then the bark down here, I'm just going to very carefully try and peel. Maybe, yeah, it doesn't want to, kind of just keeps coming. Dang it. Well, maybe we can work with that. This is great. You're seeing all this problem solving that sometimes you have to do with kind of the primitive, the more ancient style art forms where they didn't have nice, easy steel cutting tools and scissors and all that good stuff. Okay. Let's see now. Yeah, it's almost becoming more flexible the more bark I'm peeling off. It's kind of nice. Okay. Alright, I'll tuck that under there as well. There we go. Okay, so here's our little split twig figure dude. And then this guy, I'll just take my knife, since he's kind of an extra bit. Just very carefully slice him off. But there you have it. There is a split twig figure. So just a little backstory on these. From what I understand, they were found in the area around Grand Canyon, kind of in the southwest. Some of them they've dated to as old as 5,000 years. They're not 100% sure what they were for. They didn't know if they were a little toy, or if they were used in ceremonies, or maybe something to do with hunting rituals. But kind of a very, very old tradition for the Southwest. And a lot of times with these longer legs in the back, you can stick them in the ground, and that's sometimes how they would find them. It's just kind of stuck in the ground or in caves along the canyons near the Grand Canyon. And anyway, so yeah, hope that helps in making one of your own.